For 74 years, Naval Training Center San Diego stood as the Pacific Fleet's primary gateway. More than 2 million recruits passed through these gates, marching across the massive paved courtyards known as grinders, while navigating the curriculum that defined their naval identities. By 1993, that massive machine was winding down. The Federal Base Realignment and Closure Commission had mandated that the San Diego installation shut its doors forever, shifting all future recruit training to the Great Lakes facility in Illinois. As the late summer and autumn approached, the command faced an intense logistical hurdle. The final cohorts, groups like Company 166, had to navigate a compressed, accelerated training cycle before the base officially decommissioned its recruit training function. Today, if a veteran from that late 1993 cycle tries to track down their company's graduation photo, they hit a bureaucratic wall. A search through the National Archives or the Navy Department Library yields nothing. The United States military is famous for its meticulous paperwork, tracking every medal and duty station down to the day. Yet for these final recruits, official government repositories hold zero visual documentation of their time at boot camp. The rush to decommission the base created a terminal gap in the record. The names and faces of the final graduating classes were effectively lost to the federal government as the command prepared for its final official ceremony. The missing records are the result of a standard bureaucratic boundary. Individual portraits and the anchor yearbooks were produced by private commercial contractors. Because they were sold directly to recruits as souvenirs, they were never designated for inclusion in official military personnel folders. If Company 126 graduated in early August and the final cohort was Company 215 in November, the Navy processed 89 companies in 100 days. That calculation means almost one full company graduated every single day, driven by an immovable closure deadline. Despite the rush, these fast-tracked recruits still navigated the traditional transition. They marched to the famous culinary mess halls and sat for the same severely strict military haircuts that generations had endured before them. They also trained aboard the USS Recruit. Known as the USS Never Sail, this landlocked destroyer escort was embedded in concrete, serving as a controlled environment where these young recruits learned complex deck procedures without ever actually leaving the base. Because the visual history of 1993 was documented only in commercial products, the survival of these records was left entirely to the preservation efforts of individual veterans. Finding a record of a specific unit, like Company 166, now requires a scavenger hunt. Researchers and families scour secondary markets like eBay, looking for rare surviving copies of an anchor yearbook from that exact training cycle. When physical books can't be found, the search moves online. Veterans built their own decentralized databases on platforms like Reddit and Together We Served. The recovery method is entirely grassroots. Former sailors dig out old yearbooks, they scan the physical pages, and upload them to the web. They are rebuilding the lost company rosters name by name. These crowdsourced networks have effectively filled the gap left by the military's archival structure. By pooling their personal mementos, the veterans have built the true, living archive of San Diego's final boot camp cohorts. Today, the physical grounds where those final recruits marched have been entirely repurposed. Following the closure, the massive base was redeveloped into Liberty Station, a sprawling mixed-use commercial center. The original Spanish colonial architecture remains, but the barracks and command centers have been converted into art galleries and boutique shops. The military remnants now serve civilian purposes. When massive institutions close, administrative transitions are inevitable. As staff members transfer and operations dismantle, the final chapters of a location's history often slip through the cracks of official record-keeping. The legacy of Company 166 reveals a specific truth about the past. History relies on the active, collective effort of the veteran community to safeguard the identities that the official archives were never designed to hold.